Hi, in this video, we're going to be talking about the 5 essential PowerShell networking commands that you could use to replace the classic netshell, network shell, netsh, however you like to pronounce it, command that we typically use in Windows from the command line. So the network shell command is not just a single usage command. You could use it for all kinds of things, such as managing your Wi-Fi profiles, configuring IP addresses, troubleshooting network connections, and even managing the Windows firewall. So we're going to be talking about 5 other commands you could use to replace network shell, which will also give you some extra flexibility as in what you could do with these commands. So Microsoft prefers that you use PowerShell for your networking commands compared to the typical command prompt. And we just did some other videos on the 5 essential PowerShell networking commands in general, and also the 5 essential standard networking commands you could use. So I'll link those in the description if you want to check those out. All right, so we're going to be talking about several commands here today, and then we're going to show you some examples. So this is going to be a general overview just to give you an idea of what these commands are and what they do. So it's not going to be super detailed. And then if you want to look into it a little further, you could check it out on your own. All right, so let's begin here. All right, so as you can see here from these top 2 sections, we're moving from legacy text streams to structured.NET objects for our workflow, and then Microsoft has officially depreciated the network shell advanced firewall and strongly advises using the net TCP/IP command, NetAdapter, and net security modules for all Windows networking tasks. So in this video, we're going to be covering Get-NetAdapter. So this replaces network shell interface show interface. And then we're going to be covering Get-NetIPConfiguration as well as Get-NetIPAddress. So these are related. So these will replace the interface IP show config command. All right, then we have the Set-DnsClientServerAddress. So this replaces the interface IP Set-DNS command. And then we have the Get-NetFirewallRule and also the New-NetFirewallRule. So one of these is used to show you the rules, and then this one is used to create rules. So this replaces the advanced firewall command. And then finally, we have the Get-NetRoute and the New-NetRoute. One shows you the routes, and then the other one allows you to make new routes. So this replaces the interface IPv4 show route and route print options. All right, so when it comes to troubleshooting your network, you could use these to do so. So here are some of the things you could do with these commands. You could audit your interface hardware, verify the link speed and status, inspect your IP configuration, IP assignment, subnet prefixes, and so on. Check your DNS settings for primary and secondary DNS servers. Audit your host security, check out your firewall rules and your ports, and then also inspect your routing tables. All right, so the first command we're going to be talking about is Get-NetAdapter. So the purpose of this is to discover, audit, and manage your physical and virtual network adapters. And once again, here's what it replaces. And then these commands will have additional parameters. So this is not necessarily going to be all the parameters, just some of the more common ones, such as -name, which will filter by interface alias. So if you wanted to see Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapters, you could use this. -physical will limit the output strictly to physical NICs and filter out any hypervisor switches or VPN tunnels, if you're using any, of course. And then we have include hidden. So this will display hidden virtual tunnel interfaces if you're using them, of course. All right, so why would you use this over network shell? So this returns live objects with actionable properties such as the link speed, connection state, driver version, and so on. And then you could pipe these directly to restart NetAdapter, enable NetAdapter, or disable NetAdapter. So when I say pipe, think of that as output them into these other commands here. All right, then we have some sample commands. So basic command here, get NetAdapter. And then if you want to get more advanced, you could use get NetAdapter -physical to show the physical adapter only. And then you could use some of the format options here to show specific information, which we'll see in the next slide here. All right, so as a troubleshooting tip for Get-NetAdapter, so if the status shows disconnected while the media is connected, you'll need to verify the physical cable or radio switch. And then a link speed of 0 points directly to an uninitialized driver or hardware malfunction. All right, so here's a sample command here. So this is get NetAdapter, showing the physical adapter, and then our formatting options here. So name is Ethernet, the link status is up, the link speed is 1 gigabit per second, and then here's the MAC address. So we have name, status, link speed, and MAC address. So nice clean way to show this information on the screen there all in one place. So by using this, we don't have to deal with going to Device Manager or Control Panel to get that information. All right, so for the next command, we're going to be talking about Get-NetIPConfiguration and Get-NetIPAddress. So these will display and configure your IP addresses, subnets, default gateways, and DNS resolvers in a single group view. So this replaces the interface IP show config and the interface IPv4 show address, and also IP config all, which you most likely used. All right, so for our parameters here, we could use the interface alias, which will limit the scope to a single adapter, such as Ethernet, if we don't want to see everything. And then we could also use detailed if we want to see additional information like the MAC address, MTU size, DHCP lead times, and so on. And then we have address family. So this filters by IPv4 or IPv6. So let's say you don't care about IPv6, you could just have it show the IPv4 information. All right, so why would you use this over network shell? So the network shell fragments gateway and DNS information across separate sections, while this command here associates them with their corresponding interface, making it much easier to read the results. All right, so here are some sample commands. So just the basic command by itself, if you just want to do that. And if you just want to see the Ethernet adapter and have detailed information, you could structure it like this. And then if you want to see the Ethernet adapter and only see IPv4 information, and set the format for IP address, prefix length, and interface alias, you could structure your command like this. So as you can see, these commands are a lot more complicated, I should say, for lack of a better word, compared to using it from the command line, because you have a lot more options with these parameters here. So it can make it kind of confusing when you see these long commands, but if you just kind of think through it and just look at what it's actually showing you, it's not too bad. All right, so a troubleshooting tip for these commands here. So of course you have the PIPA IP address if it starts with 169.254. So that tells you that the DHCP server is unreachable, or this computer simply can't reach the DHCP server to get its IP address. So you'll have to figure out if it's this computer or something wrong with the DHCP server. And then also if it's missing the IPv4 default gateway, that tells you that it can't route packets beyond the local subnet or even out to the internet. All right, so here is a sample command here. So right here we have the Get-NetIPConfiguration with the interface alias of Ethernet and detailed. So unlike IPconfig, which forces you to scroll through walls of text, this groups everything neatly under a single interface. Then we can immediately see the IPv4 address, the default gateway, aka your router, and the active DNS server, along with the DHCP status all in one view here. So it's a nice, easy to read list, even gives you the computer name, a description of the network adapter, got your MAC address, IP address information, whether or not DHCP is enabled, and the DNS server IP address. All right, so the next command is Set-DnsClientServerAddress. So this is used to audit and assign static DNS resolver arrays, or you could use it to restore adapters to DHCP assigned DNS. So this is typically used to replace the interface IP set DNS or interface IP add DNS or interface IP show DNS commands. All right, so for our parameters, we have the interface alias. So this will specify the target network interface, if you have more than one, that is. All right, server address. So if you want to use a primary and secondary DNS, you could enter their IP addresses. And then we have the reset server address parameter here. So this will clear any static DNS entries and switches the adapter back to automatic DHCP resolution. All right, so why would you use this one? So the netshell command requires separate commands and manual index numbers to set primary and secondary DNS. But with PowerShell, it'll accept an entire array of IP addresses into one single command. All right, then we have some samples here. So remember I said get is to show and set is to assign. So in this one here, we're getting DNS client server address just to show the address for Ethernet. And this one, we're setting it with the server addresses right here. We have two DNS servers right here. And then we could use set also to reset the server addresses. So like I said, get will show, set will take action. All right, for a troubleshooting tip, you want to always inspect existing resolvers first using the Get-DNS-ClientServerAddress with the dash address family IPv4 to ensure you do not overwrite internal Active Directory resolvers on a domain joined computer. This is assuming you're doing this at the office. You're not going to be on a domain if you're doing this at home, unless you have a domain set up in your lab. All right, so here is our sample command here. All right, so as you can see here, we have get, so we're showing DNS client server address. We want to use the Ethernet interface and show IPv4. So we have Ethernet there, IPv4, and this is the local DNS server address. And then for the second command, we're going to set, so change in this case, DNS client server address, Ethernet, and change it to these two Google DNS servers, public DNS servers, all eights, and then 8844. And then after that, we're going to get it again to see the changes. So here's before and here's after. So you can see the main difference here being just the server addresses. So we changed it from the internal one here to the two Google public servers. And then if we were to open the network adapter properties and go to the settings here, we would see we're still using DHCP for our IP address, but we have the static assigned DNS servers, preferred and alternate, the two Google servers right there. All right, now let's talk about Get-NetFirewallRule and New-NetFirewallRule. So this will audit, create, modify, and disable host-level Windows Defender firewall rules. And this replaces the NetShell versions of the same commands or similar commands. All right, for our parameters, we have display names. So this will show you human-readable identifiers for the rule, which always comes in handy when you're trying to figure out what it is. And then if you want to see inbound or outbound traffic flow for these rules, you could use direction. And then action if you want to take an action, such as setting the filtering policy to allow or block. Then if you want to see local port and protocol information, you could use these parameters, such as ports 80 and 443 and protocol TCP. And then we have the profiles. So in Windows, we have domain, private, and public, or you could also use any if you want to set it globally there. All right, so like I said at the beginning of the video, the advanced firewall rule is depreciated in Windows, and you could use PowerShell to provide deep filtering across network profiles, application paths, and security association policies using object pipelines. All right, so here are some sample commands. Once again, get to show. So we want to see the inbound and the action block and enabled is true, and then formatting options for what it's going to show. And then we have get net firewall port filter for ports. So this one's for rules, this one's for ports. If you want to see a specific port and change your formatting, how you want the results to be displayed. And then finally, if you want to make a new rule, so you could have the display name, which way it's going to go, inbound in this case, what port you're going to be using, what protocol you're going to be using, if you're going to allow it or deny it, and then what profile you want to assign it to. In this case, it's domain and private. All right, so when it comes to troubleshooting this command, to locate rules blocking specific traffic quickly, filter using action block, enabled true when searching by port, and then query get net firewall port filter first to avoid scanning thousands of unrelated rule properties. All right, so here is our example here. So we're using new, so we're actually adding something here with our display name, our direction, going to be inbound, what port we're using, 8080, TCP for the protocol. We're going to allow it and put it on the private domain. So you can see here we have the results here. We have our display name. It's enabled, it's on private. The direction is inbound. It's allowing it, and so on. And then for our next command, we're going to be using get to show information here with our display name, which is the same here when we configured it in the first command. But this time we're just going to have it show the name, display name, whether or not it's enabled, the direction, action, and profile. So this just gives us the information we want after we created the firewall rule here. So of course you could edit these to show different pieces of information, add or remove as needed. All right, and then finally we have a Get-NetRoute and New-NetRoute. So these audit the kernel routing tables, configure static persistent routes, and manages gateway metric weights. So these replace these various net shell commands here for show route, add route, print route, and route add. All right, so we have the destination prefix. So if you want to set a destination CIDR block here for default gateway, for static subnets, and so on. And then interface alias if you want to bind the route explicitly to a specific adapter. Next hop if you want to set the gateway address responsible for forwarding packets. And then with the route metric parameter, you could use that to set integer route priorities. And then finally, policy store defaults to persistent storage across reboots. All right, so why would you use it over net shell? So the new NetRoute saves these static routes persistently by default while replacing the clunky net shell routing syntax entirely. All right, so this one's a little more complex and probably not used as much unless you're editing and creating routing tables on your network. All right, sample commands, Get-NetRoute to show. So if you want to see which IP address family, IPv4, then you could format your table here, destination prefix, the next hop, route metrics, and so on. And then we could use Get-NetRoute again if we want to see the destination prefix for the default gateway. And if we want to create a new route, we could use New-NetRoute with the destination prefix, with the subnet information, which interface, the next hop, what it's going to be, and your route metrics. All right, so troubleshooting for this. So if a host has lost internet access, you can verify that the destination prefix right here exists. And if multiple default routes exist, such as Ethernet and an active VPN, check the route metric values to ensure traffic is leaving the intended interface. All right, so here's our sample command here. So Get-NetRoute, so we're viewing once again, not creating. So our destination prefix, format table, and the information we want to see. So this view queries the active routing table for the default internet route right there. Then it shows us the next hop gateway IP and the exact interface alias, which is Ethernet, right there and there. And we see that route metric is 0 because it uses normal automatic priority, and policy store is blank because we are looking at live active settings right now rather than saved rules. So like I said before, this is probably going to be the least commonly used one unless you have to create network routes at the office. Not sure how much you would use it at home, but I just figured we'd throw it in there just because it's an important one to know about. All right, so those are your 5 essential PowerShell networking commands that replace network shell, and obviously not the only ones, but the most important ones. So having a basic understanding of these commands is definitely helpful in your networking career. And if you plan on specializing in networking, you're really going to have to learn these commands. All right, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.